Hey guys, it's Nick with Urban Farm Boys, and you know you're officially a plant geek when you start wearing plant-themed attire, but you know what? I guess I am one, and I love this shirt, and so I'm not apologizing for it. Here we are. But it is mid-September 2022, and it's been a hot minute since we posted any content here on the channel. Apparently people get busy, and we certainly have. It's been a busy year. I think the last time we uploaded some videos for you guys was last fall, so it's been a really long time. But I really want to get back into making some videos and documenting some of the things we're doing here on the property. And so I thought I would start because it's a really beautiful evening today, middle of September, and I have moved not all but most of my plants onto the front porch. They have enjoyed the season. They've been out here since probably April or May, probably April, and they've been thriving, and pretty soon it's going to be time to take them in. So before I do that, I wanted to show you my plant porch, give you a little tour of what's going on out here, and kind of show you what my plants are doing, and then kind of talk to you about my plan to move them back inside for the winter, which I'm really sad about, but we're not there yet. It's still in the 80s here in the middle of September, so we've got some time. By the way, you also know you're a forest geek when you wear hats that have squirrels on them. But I also love this hat, and it says nuts on it, and it's very appropriate. So I'm not apologizing about anything I'm wearing today. We're about to round out our second year here in this house, and we live in New York. We live 45 minutes to an hour outside of New York City. We live on 9 acres, and out here you would forget how close we are to the city because we're surrounded by forest, and we're surrounded by mountains on several sides. We're kind of at the foothills of the Catskill mountain range up here, so we're close to the city, but also it's very peaceful out here. And this house is amazing. It's everything I ever wanted. We live in kind of it's called a center hall colonial home, so if you're not familiar, it's kind of a very traditional American home style out here in the forest, and it's got a really big front porch. One of my friends said, who lives in New York City, said, "Your front porch is bigger than my New York City apartment," and she's not wrong. It's a big porch, and I've got a lot of houseplants, and I always dreamed of bringing houseplants out onto the front porch. Now I have a place where I can do that. I've been kind of a houseplant geek since about 2018. I think I started collecting houseplants. And I lived in Austin, Texas back then, which has a very different climate from New York. And I remember watching YouTube videos from Plant Arena originally. That's where I started, like a lot of us did, I think. And she has a beautiful front porch. She has a beautiful back porch. And she always made videos with all these ideas about plant styling your porch. And I always thought, that's amazing, but I can't do that here in Texas. Plus, I didn't have a porch at my house in Texas, so there were a few reasons why that wasn't going to work for me. But she lives in New York and has a porch, and I live in New York and I have a porch, so it's been really fun kind of letting my houseplants come outside in the summertime here, spring and summer. So I thought first I might just show you the porch. So on this end we have a little sitting situation. I always wanted a front porch with a porch swing, and now we have it. And can we talk about ferns? I have tried with ferns in the house a number of times. No good, never worked out for me. But 2 years in a row now we've had ferns out here, and they just thrive and they love it, and it reminds me of New Orleans, and they're so happy. I water them a lot out here, and it's okay because it doesn't get all over the floor inside of the house. And so I think we'll have ferns out here forever. But this is from one end to the other, so like my friend said, it's a pretty decent sized front porch. And then we've got a couple of sitting zones, so this is the one sitting zone, and there's another one on the other side. But I'll kind of walk you through what's going on here, and then I'll slow down and come back and tell you a little bit about my plants. I bought these 3 sort of plant shelving units, actually at the store at home, and they've been great. It's a lot tidier on my plant porch this year than it was last summer when I kind of had plants everywhere. And I'm going to take these plant shelving units inside as well for the winter. I have a plan for what's going to happen inside, so I definitely plan to make a video about that as well and show you guys what I do once I get everything inside. So it's also the end of the season here, and the porch is a little bit dusty and dirty, and we've had some pollen falling, and there's a few leaves starting to think about falling, so it's definitely about to be that time. But you know, this is a real video, so I'll show you what we're looking at here at the end of the season. So over here on our little sitting table, of course it's been taken over by plants, and I've got a little aloe plant that's just loving its life out here on the porch. It didn't grow at all during the winter, but it's loving life out here. I repotted it into this talavera pot that we got in New Mexico a couple months ago, and it's already outgrowing the pot, so it's probably going to hang out in there over the winter, and then it'll need a bigger home in the next summer or spring. And then I have a little bird of paradise, which also lived inside over the winter and did nothing, and it had 3 leaves, and now it's just thriving, and it's just shot out this big new leaf for us. So I think that's probably all it'll do for the season. But guys, I really like snake plants, and part of why I wanted to make this video is there's been such a craze during the pandemic about collecting all the plants and the rarest plants, and the prices are absolutely insane, and I don't really feed into that. I've got a few that I'm going to show you, so there are some cool rare plants. Please excuse me while we remember that I do live close to New York City, because the train into the city is over that way, and they're doing some construction, so the train likes to honk at us and remind us that it's here when it passes the house. But anyway, I love snake plants. These are simple. This was one of my first plants, and in fact this might be an original, one of the very first I ever bought. I think I've had it for like 4 years, and I think they're fun. I think they're beautiful and really like structural, architectural for design in your house, and they're easy. They're slow growing and easy, and I love it. So I have another one here. I have a bunch of little snake plants all over the place. I'm going to talk to you more about some of these guys later. You might also notice that some of my plants are in leca, including that little guy, and I'll talk to you more about my leca journey. But that's our little seating area. I'm going to turn you around and show you our first little plant shelving unit. So on this side of the porch we've got a few little things going on, and I've actually started doing some repotting and propagating and things, so the plants are starting to spill out all over the place, but I'm trying to get things ready for the winter in the house. But I've got more snake plants. So this guy, he actually is living in leca too. I don't really know what the names of the different snake plants are, but I love this one, and I bought him in Austin when I was visiting to sell my house down there, and he came from the Green Gate. So if you live in Texas, check out the Green Gate. I think it's in Seguin, which is in between Austin and San Antonio, and it's, I think, my favorite plant shop I've ever been to. It's amazing, and I love this kind of snake plant, and he's not ultra happy, but he's hanging in there. So I put him in leca. I think he'll root better in leca. And then I have a little, you know, we're going classic here, classic-ish, little Rhaphidophora tetrasperma over here, which is climbing toward my roof of my porch and attaching to my walls. I actually just bought this about a month ago. It was in a plant shop. It's big, and it was about $30, and I have another one that I've had for years, and that damn thing we've chopped and propped and chopped and propped, and I tried to put it on a trellis. In fact, I might even have a video about that on the channel, and it didn't like it, and it died, and so I have a few cuttings of it, and then I got tired of taking cuttings for 3 years of a plant that I can just buy in a plant shop easily these days. So he's living his best life, and he's gonna probably not love when I take him inside. I've got some more snake plants. So Andrew and I don't think we put it on the channel, but we went to New Mexico. When did we go? In the spring sometime. I still have some family down there, and we did a car swap. My aunt had a truck that she wanted to get rid of, and we had a little hybrid energy efficient car that was fine, but we wanted a truck, and so we drove all the way from New York to New Mexico to do a car swap, and drove the truck back to New York. And while we had a truck down there, we bought a lot of things from New Mexico. If you guys don't know, I'm half Scandinavian and half American. Kind of lived back and forth my whole life, but I was born in New Mexico. Don't remember anything about that. We left when I was a baby, but I still love everything about New Mexican culture, including the food, which is probably my favorite thing. But they have a lot of cool stuff down there that I really like. So part of that is they have a lot of this talavera pottery in New Mexico, which is probably Mexican, but it's also very much part of New Mexican culture. So we bought a bunch of pots, and I bought some plants, including this variegated agave, which I think is really pretty. And so we've had him for maybe 6 months, and he's not really growing. Well, yeah, he is growing a little bit, he or she. If I can rotate him. I'm also at a really weird camera angle, sorry guys. We do have some new growth happening. I repotted him too. He's just chilling. I see a dead leaf here, but hopefully he'll thrive. We'll see. And then just recently, I'll tell you about another plant place if you live in New York, outside of New York City. So I bought myself Philodendron Ring of Fire just a few weeks ago, and it's really pretty. All the leaves are very different. They're all really cool looking, and it hasn't quite yet put out a new leaf for me, but you probably can't see, but it's thinking about it right there. These used to be really expensive. I know the big ones go for a lot of money, but these little guys, I mean, I'll tell you prices. I'm not ashamed. Oops, no, I won't, because I already repotted this guy. I think this was $50 for a little one, maybe 40. I thought that was reasonable, so he's hanging out. I have this little rickrat cactus. I love this. I don't know, I'm getting more into, like, I still feel like I kill succulents, but I'm kind of loving cacti in general. And so this guy is, I bought him when he was about a third of this size, and he's kind of loving his life. And I love how crazy he looks. He's like going in all directions, and he's really fun. I hope he gets huge. And actually he's been super easy. Another little cactus that I bought in, I think in New Mexico, maybe not, maybe it was up here in one of those Talavera pots that I got from New Mexico. This guy's cool, or girl. Hayden, we're gonna call her a girl. She is from Michigan, where Andrew's family is from. And we were there over Christmas, and Andrew's grandmother, who is British, has a giant Christmas cactus, which she inherited from either her mother or I believe her grandmother. But that plant is giant, and it's multi-generational. Well, Andrew doesn't really care about plants, but I do, so I asked to take some cuttings, and I took some, and they're growing. They were tiny. I think I only had 2 little cuttings, and now they're doing their thing. I've never had a Christmas cactus before, so when I got the cuttings, I didn't want to kill this multi-generational plant, so I did some research, and I think I found that it's actually not a Christmas cactus, it's a Thanksgiving cactus. So I told his grandmother that, and she was not happy with that news. She's like, it's been a Christmas cactus for generations, so it's going to remain that. So okay, so fine. So we're calling it a Christmas cactus. I have a few other pots of this that I'm trying to grow. They're not quite as happy, but if I can get this to grow, it'll be like 4th or 5th generation family plant. So I think that's ultra cool. I don't love this guy. I bought him because he was variegated. He doesn't like me either. He's trying to die. We'll move on. I can't remember what these are called. Can you guys tell me? Silver Splash. Is this a Dieffenbachia? I can't remember, but he's pretty. I like him. He's on the floor because I rotated him, because all summer he pointed away from me. So he looks great from this side. I'm trying to actually get him to grow back the other way before I take him in for the summer. Some more snake plants, and then here I have some cacti that I got in New Mexico, and this is it's a euphorbia. It's a variegated euphorbia of some sort. Apparently there's a lot of them. I just repotted him, and I sort of rose him from the soil line that he was in before, and he's really cool. I like him, but he's not doing much, but he's not dying. This guy apparently is dying because there were 2 of them, and in preparing to start this video up, amateur filming skills, realized that his other friend is rotted, so his friend used to live with him. Do you guys know anything about these? Because I'm wondering if I can cut this off and root it from the bottom. I think I can. So I'm gonna try. But he doesn't love me. Oh, also he had babies this summer. I thought he was thriving. He had 3 babies, and then they fell off. So I threw them in some leca to root, and this baby's happy, and this baby is mushy and foldy. But I'm trying. I love cacti. I'm learning to love cacti. I have a fiddle leaf fig. I'll show you my original fiddle in a minute. This guy I bought at Walmart last year for $15, and it's huge, and it's thriving. The other one I bought was way more expensive, and it's tiny, and it looks like it's miserable and wants to be euthanized, and maybe I will. Andrew only owns a few plants, and he doesn't really take care of them. But this is one of his plants. It got eaten by, I don't know, creatures, deer, something. It's not been watered. It's a, what do you call it? It's a hibiscus, and I'm trying to revive it. It actually puts off really pretty flowers, and it's still alive, but it's seen better days. Alright, so round two. Let's chat about this side of the porch. Also, if you guys are wondering, more of my New Mexican culture, I've got these New Mexican hatch chilies hanging on either side of the door. I just love them. They're so pretty. And then, if you're wondering about this, I don't know where I was. Last week, I was somewhere, and they had Halloween stickies that you stick on your doors if you have children, and we don't. But we stuck them on the door anyway, and it was really fun. So, you know, whatever. Another stank plant. This guy usually lives inside, and he's pretty tall, and I love him. People say they grow slowly. I've never had that experience. Mine are always growing so fast that I keep dividing them, and I have a lot of them. Apologies for the video and probably audio change. Last year when I was all fired up about making more videos for Urban Farm Boys, I bought a sort of fancy new camera and haven't used it in a while, and I've been filming for about 15 minutes and it just told me it was overheating and it decided to take a nap. But I have my iPhone and these take pretty good videos, even from this front-facing camera. So I'm going to continue because I am sort of losing light, and it actually looks like you can see better from my iPhone than the fancy camera. So we'll continue. Earlier I started to mention this Philodendron giganteum, which I love the roots on it. They're like wild and crazy. It looks kind of like an alien. But this guy's thriving. He's loving his life. I rotated him too so that he can try to point back the other way before he goes inside. And he's in a self-watering pot, and I'm kind of obsessed with these. And I kind of want all my plants to be in them. Kaylee Ellen has talked about them a lot, and the ones she talks about are fairly expensive, but these are on Amazon, and they're actually cheap. They're cheap pots, and I like white pots, so I'll link these below if you want to check them out. I'm obsessed. Down here, got a little more. This cactus I bought down in New Mexico, and I don't think he's grown much for me, but he looks pretty happy. This little guy I think is a New Yorker, but he's in one of those New Mexico Talavera pots. This is my first anthurium. I actually just got it a few weeks ago. It's an Anthurium clarinervium, and which always sounds like a Harry Potter spell to me. But it's loving its life. It has shot out these 2 new leaves in just the few weeks I've had it. So I'm excited to see what it does. I'm going to try to keep it out here as long as I can so it can grow a little bit before the winter. This guy, I know he also came from New York City, and he's wild and crazy. I kind of dig the plants that go crazy and look chaotic, which he does. Not everything has to be super rare, right? I love these guys. Monstera adansonii. I bought this when we lived in our apartment the first year after we came up here, just right outside New York City. This is a wide form, and I had a giant one. I bought a big one, and a lot of it died, but I took a bunch of cuttings, and these are actually just cuttings that I threw in this pot, and they are thriving, so it's exciting. By the way, this is just a normal terracotta pot, and I bought chalk spray paint, and spray painted it, and it looks white now-ish. Still getting some of that like patina that regular terracotta does, but I like the look of it. So, and then, oh boy, this guy. So this Cebu Blue Pothos, these are cuttings too. I had a big plant. I still do actually, it's inside. But I took a bunch of cuttings last year, and then I put them upstairs all winter in our bathroom, in our master bath. And I basically forgot about them all winter. And it looked really sad, this poor thing. He's been through it. But he's out here now and loving his life. So that's exciting. Look, a Hoya. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with Hoyas, and it's mostly that I'm not sure if I love them, and I definitely know that they hate me. And I also don't know much about Hoyas, but I know this is one, and I don't know what kind, so if you do, just comment below. I kill almost every Hoya that comes near me, but this guy is thriving. He was tiny before he came out to the porch for the summer, or spring, summer, and now he's going wild and crazy and thriving, and it's renewing my faith in Hoyas. In front of my Hoya, I have this monstera. Don't look at my dusty, dirty floor. It's the end of the season, but this guy, I've also rotated him again so he can point the other way. This guy's been through it. He's one of my original plants. I bought him as like a 3 little baby leaf, baby monstera. He's in some old soil. I made this soil blend like 2-3 years ago, and I keep amending it, but he needs a change. But he has been through it. He's been chopped and propped, and he was in leca, and then he got root rot, and then he was in soil. And then a couple of years ago, I had my first experience with thrips, which were on a plant that I bought and brought home, and they traveled to all my other plants, and they started with this guy, and he almost completely died. And now he's back. And then all winter, I had him in one of my spare bedrooms and forgot about him, and this poor guy. But you know, they don't give up. And he's looking better now than he ever has. He's little, but you know, we're not giving up on him. I have a couple other monsteras. So there's one here, much bigger. And there's one over here too, even bigger. And what do you guys think about monsteras? So they grow crazy. And I've had them always just growing in all directions, and they're wild, and then I've tried to stake them, and then one of them fell over. But somebody was talking about the benefits of just pointing your monsteras in one direction, so they grow, all the leaves grow in one direction, and they look a little bit more like structural that way. So I did that this summer with both of these. Just let them go in one direction. All the leaves are pointing toward the light, except this guy, because he just came out, I think, and he's confused about where to go, or maybe he's old. But now they're all pointing in one direction, like if you see the back. And I do think they look really cool this way. In fact, I think I like them better this way, but I'm not sure what to do during the winter. If I should repot and stake them and make them grow upward again, or in all directions again, or what I should do. What do you guys think? Because I kind of love how they look now, but I'm not sure. Thoughts below in the comments, please. Okay, so up here, I'm obsessed also. We're talking about plants for regular people. And I have a Raven ZZ here. I have a few of them, and this one, I actually found it at, I think, a Lowe's. It's one of those Costa Farms deals where you get a plant and a pot. It was cheap. It was like $15 these days. Remember when you couldn't hardly find them? And this guy's loving his life, and I love them. ZZ plants are easy. Sometimes people think they're basic, like snake plants, but I love them. They're easy. They make me happy. One of my first plants ever was a regular green ZZ, which is in there. Maybe I'll do an indoor houseplant tour another day. I love the Raven ones, though. They're black like my soul. What is this, guys? Is this a philodendron Xanadu? Is it a jungle boogie? What is this? Anyway, it's a little philodendron, and he's happy. This one is, I think, my newest plant purchase, or one of them. I bought this little philodendron Splendid just a couple weeks ago. I haven't bought plants for a while, but I've been seeing some like less common plants lately that like are at reasonable prices. Because I'm sorry, y'all. Well, apart from something I'm going to show you in a second, I don't spend a ton of money on rare plants just to say that I have them. With maybe one exception, which you'll see in a second. But this is cute. He's really nice, and he's growing up a little pole. They gave him, or I bought him with this little bamboo stake, and he just threw out this leaf like yesterday or so, and also this little leaf, and he's cute, and I'm excited because they're pretty. He has these, can you see like the reddened back? I can't remember. This is a, what is it, Melanochrysum gloriosum hybrid, maybe? Something like that, but anyway, I think the red backs comes from the Melanochrysum side, maybe. And he's just climbing, loving life. Oh, I also bought this, which there's one little brown area, but this is a philodendron white wizard, and he was also pretty affordable. He's got a little rough you know, some rough zones on some of his leaves, but he was a good price. I think he was like $30 or $40. And so, you know, I'll have a white wizard for that price. Can't complain about a little neon philodendron. Love this guy. He's just growing downward toward everyone. Back to those traditional plants, right? Those easy ones. So I think this might be another cutting of my wide form Adansonii. I used to have a narrow form, but I think this is the same wide form too. It was one cutting. I think I just threw it in a little pot and he's happy. So that's great. He's not done growing for the season yet. Another Hoya. Guys, I suck at Hoyas. I don't know what any of these are called, but again, he didn't grow yet. He didn't die, so he is growing some new stuff for me, and so that's fun. This is another little, I think this is a euphorbia that I bought in New Mexico, and all of that purple is what was there when I bought him, and all the green is new since I bought him, and that's really exciting. I don't know what kind of pot I want to put him in yet, but does he have a price? Nope, that's from a different plant, but I'm digging him. What the hell are these called, guys? This is one of Andrew's plants, Dracaena, I think. This bitch will not die. I hate this plant, and I tell it that I hate it, which is not very nice, but I do. But it won't die, because they're so easy. So if you're nervous about houseplants, buy one of these, because I neglect him, and I don't take care of him, and I tell him, like, weekly that I wish he was dead, but he doesn't die. He's currently in LECA. He's been in LECA for years, and I don't hardly water him, and I never remember to fertilize him, and he keeps growing. And he's boring. And of course he's Andrew's plant, but Andrew has not been involved in any of his care, and, which is fine. He has many other fine attributes, but plant care is not one of them. These are easy, so start here if you want to plant, and he may very well have even come from the IKEA plant section. But let's talk about desert roses. Guys, can we talk about desert roses? Okay, I was watching Devin Wallian's video. He has a beautiful desert rose, which, I don't know, I just thought they were cool. They're like weird, and they're like succulents, but they grow where there's no water, but then they store water, and they're kind of biblical. And I read something about how that Bible story about, sorry guys, I'm not up with my Jesus speak, but was it, who saw the burning bush? Was it Moses? I don't know. But they believe that he may have actually, well, it was a burning bush, so let's not question the Bible. But alternative answer is they think it could have been a desert rose. And so I wanted some. So I found some that were for sale from Texas, from South Texas, and they sent me 5. And so I potted them up and put them on my porch because I figured they live in the desert with nothing, so they probably want to be on the front porch. And they hate me, but they're not dying quite. Well, they are, because they keep dropping leaves, but then they keep growing leaves. And they're in terracotta, and they're in a soil mix that I make myself, which is really well draining. And it's got nutrients, but I'm not quite sure how much light they want, and I don't know how often to water them, or if I should let them dry out. I can feel a good root system, because this guy's wobbly, but he's still holding on. If you guys know about desert rose care for people who live in New York, I think I'm zone 6B, and I want to take them in and put them under a grow light this winter. Help, please. Comments below. Oh, warning, parental guidance advisory. You must be not a child to see what I'm about to show you, because something vulgar is growing in my monstera. Y'all, what is up with this? What is up with this? I have mushrooms growing in my monstera, and can I just tell you, can you guys believe me when I say, yes, you can see it here. A few days ago, these two are very large, but a few days ago, I came out here and there was a small cluster of yellow colored penis-shaped mushrooms growing out of my monstera. These guys, I'm not even going to comment on the growth they can achieve, but there's some smaller penises down there, and excuse me, you did not have my consent for any of this. Time to wrap it up because we're losing sunlight and even my iPhone is questioning me. So let me show you what I got going here, including my prized possession. Spoiler alert. So this is one of my very first plants, like I told you about earlier. This damn fiddle leaf fig. He looks real wonky because he doesn't know where the light is, and he's been in a corner. But this was one of my very first plants. I spent a lot of money. This I achieved. I acquired during that time when fiddle leaf figs were cool and they were hard to find, and so I found one, and he hates me a lot, but he also won't die, and I've had him for like 5 years and I can't bring myself to throw him away. He did throw out 2 new leaves, or 3 maybe, out here on the porch, but Jesus, like, have you seen a sadder specimen? Speaking of which, Ahoya. I don't know about them. I think this is a crimson somebody. Princess? Queen? Tell me below. Actually, my friend Amanda, who's like a Hoya mistress, said that, well, when I got him, which was a year ago, I got him for my birthday a year ago, which is almost coming up in a week. So he had all these white clusters, and Amanda said it was called a Hoya snowball. It looked really cool. Nope, this guy hates me. Hates me, doesn't like me, keeps trying to die, but then keeps living. So a week ago I put him in Lekka. Not Dude, Adam, Nicole, My Clean Leaves, all these people I follow who are other Lekka fans said their Hoyas love Lekka, so I'm trying. He actually looks happier now than he has since I got him, but oh god, over him. I can't remember what this was. He's not happy anymore. I think this was some sort of this was an alocasia dragon scale, which looked really cool, but yeah, no. Sometimes you need a regular heartleaf philodendron. This I've had for years and years too, but this summer or spring, a family of robins decided this was the place to have their babies. So I had a nest, and then I had babies, and they tore up all my roots, and so I only have like 1 vine left. Rude. But also, like, I mean, who wouldn't want to have their babies in this area? I would. Cebu Blue Pothos. This is the mom of the other one I showed you earlier, and I got into trying to get my plants to climb moss poles for a while. This actually isn't moss, it's cocoa coir maybe, I don't know. So I thought maybe if he grew upward, he'd get giant, huge, pretty leaves. And he has not. And he has not grown at all, and he just shot out a bunch of runners, really long ones that started hanging down, and I don't get it, and I'm gonna probably take him off the pole because I put like 4 of my plants on these poles and none of them like it, so. But I mean, he seems okay, he's just not doing anything. What are you? You are a Ficus Audrey? Ficus, what are you? I think you're an Audrey. I do pretty well with Ficus most of the time. I have a huge Ficus burgundy in my living room. I'll show you guys in another video. I do fairly well with these. Well, not that one. But for the most part, I do well with these. This has got like 4 stalks, stems, and it's living its life out here. So I love them and I want them to get huge. One of my other OGs, snake plant, I've had him for like 5 years. He's been in this IKEA pot almost that whole time. So, but he's had several babies, or she, I guess, or they have had children, and I've cut them off and I've got other ones growing. In fact, I think I skipped over there. I have one of the babies over there, and it's almost bigger than this one. I think this is a monstera Peru, or do they call them Carstanianum or something like that? I don't really remember, but I bought this in New York City at the Union Square Market as well, and it was thriving and loving its life. What the hell happened to it? I think it got burned because this is the closest to the sun out here, and it got burned, so I did some chopping and now I have propagations in the house. But he's cute, he's happy. This little one is not so happy, but it was almost dead. I have a resident chipmunk here, or a family of chipmunks, and they kept eating this guy. So, but he's actually pulling through. All this growth, almost all this growth is new, so we'll let him keep doing his thing. Now I've confused myself because I have another ficus over here, and this one is a lot more feathery. Are these the same? I can't remember. You guys tell me. Is this an Audrey? Is this a... I don't know. This only has 1 stem, but it's living its life, sort of, mostly. But back to the end of the video. Y'all, my pride and joy. my elbow monstera. I love her. I think she's a her. Look at this. I'm obsessed. So I broke down and decided to buy myself a Christmas present back, I guess like 9-10 months ago now. And I bought this beauty from Telly's greenhouse in the suburbs of Detroit. It's in Troy, Michigan. And if you guys follow Summer Rain Oaks, she was actually there doing a tour of the greenhouse. It's actually like down the street from where Andrew's family lives. And I swear to God, every time I go to Michigan, I go to Telly's. It's amazing. I have other plants from there, which I'll show you in a future video. But it's my second favorite plant shop after the Green Gate in Seguin, Texas. So if you're ever in the Detroit area, go to Telly's. But I bought this and it was expensive. It was $600. But Andrew's mom actually went to school with the owner of Telly's and potentially went on a date or two with him as well back in the day. So he gave me a $50 discount because he maybe possibly dated my boyfriend's mom like 30 years ago. So I'll take it. But it had all these big leaves on it when I got it. Look at these like double fenestrations. And almost immediately when I bought it, which was in the winter, it was like January, February, it shot out this new leaf, which I think is gorgeous. Like right away, and then it did nothing for months. And then just a couple weeks ago, it brought me this new leaf, which is also beautiful, but is smaller. There's not as many fenestrations, and so it concerned me a little bit. But I'm actually not concerned anymore, really, because first of all, I'm just happy it's growing. Second of all, I've heard it can depend on how they cut the plant. I don't know what's going on under the soil, but they said it can depend on what type of cutting you get. You may get some more juvenile growth starting up initially, which this one is smaller than the ones that it had when I bought it. And this one is even smaller. So I'm not 100% sure I need to be concerned. I don't think I do. It's got a bunch of roots. I'm also not 100% sure I love the soil that it's in. I'd like to change it out. And guys, if you have elbow monsteras, how do we feel about putting them in leca? Because I really want to put him in leca, but I really don't want to kill him. And I have root rotted a few of my leca plants, but I really feel like he would love living in leca. I'm just scared. So tell me what you think about this smaller leaf. It looks happy. The coloration, the variegation on the stems is just intense. So I'm really happy with how he's growing. Like, check that out, guys. Oops. But anyway, I'm not sure. I'm scared to mess with them, but I can see he's also fairly root bound. I know that they like it like that, but I don't love this soil that he came in. So it's time to do something with him. Should I do leca or should I just do my own soil blend? I think I should do my own. I'm scared, but love him. Her, they. All right, guys. So that was the official tour of the front porch. Sorry about the camera changes and audio changes. I'll get back into the swing of things. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know below if you have any questions about anything or if you'd like to see more. I'd like to do a tour of the plants that I've got inside because I have a few interesting things growing in there too. Pretty soon all of these guys will be inside, and I probably will make a video about that. If not the moving of the plants, then I'll show you what I plan to do, because I think I have a really good idea for them this winter that's going to give them a happier winter season than they had last year. So anyway, if you're not already, check us out on Instagram, Urban Farm Boys. You can also follow me. I post a lot more on my own Instagram, Nika Sarbata. And again, follow us on this channel, write a comment, give us a like. I've got a fair number of subscribers remaining with me after all these years, but I haven't posted very often. So if you kind of boost this video, more people will see it. More people that are plant geeks who wear plant related attire. And until next time, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you next time.